6 brutal Stoic truths that will make you cry, but will finally set you free. Stoicism. If you are watching this, it means life has already started whispering something uncomfortable to you. Maybe through disappointment, betrayal, loneliness, or that silent feeling that no matter how hard you try, something still feels missing inside you. And I need you to hear this clearly right now. Most people will never face the truth you are about to hear in this video. They will run from it, distract themselves, and live their entire lives in denial. But you didn't click this by accident. Before we go further, subscribe to this channel right now, because what you are about to learn is not entertainment. It is transformation. And most people are not ready for it, but you are here. Now listen carefully. Stoicism is not soft. It is not motivational fluff. It is not about feeling good. It is about facing life exactly as it is, without illusion, without comfort, without lies. And sometimes, the truth hurts before it heals. Let's begin. First brutal truth. You are not special to the universe. This is the truth most people resist the most. You are not chosen. You are not protected. You are not guaranteed fairness. The universe does not pause to consider your feelings, your effort, or your intentions. Rain falls on the prepared and the unprepared. Life rewards discipline, not desire. And time does not slow down for anyone, no matter how important they believe they are. This is the first emotional collapse for many people, because deep inside, we all want to believe that if we try hard enough, life must respond with fairness. But Stoicism destroys that illusion completely. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic emperors, ruled the most powerful empire in the world, and still wrote to himself daily that life is fragile, unpredictable, and indifferent. And if a man with unlimited power could accept that truth, what excuse do we have? The moment you accept that you are not special in the eyes of the universe, something strange happens. You stop waiting. You stop expecting life to change for you. And you start changing yourself instead. That is the beginning of freedom. Because pain does not come from reality. Pain comes from expectations that reality refuses to meet. Second brutal truth. Most of your pain is self-created. Take a deep breath, because this one cuts deeper. Not everything hurting you is life's fault. Not everything breaking you is other people's doing. A large part of your suffering is coming from your interpretation of events. Two people can lose the same job. One falls into depression, the other builds a new career. The event is the same. The mind is different. Stoicism teaches that it is not what happens to you that defines your life. It is how you respond to it. Epictetus was born a slave. He was beaten, controlled, and had no freedom in his early life. Yet he became one of the most mentally free humans in history. How? Because he understood one brutal truth. You may not control what happens to you, but you always control what it does to you internally. Most people suffer twice. First in reality, then again in their mind. They replay conversations. They imagine worst-case scenarios. They attach meaning to things that were never meant to define them. And slowly, they become prisoners of their own thoughts. Stoicism is not about eliminating pain. It is about removing unnecessary suffering. And that begins when you stop handing control of your mind to external events. Third brutal truth. People will not love you the way you expect. This truth is where many emotional wounds begin. People will misunderstand you. People will leave you. People will disappoint you, not because they are evil, but because they are human, self-interested, inconsistent, and emotionally limited just like you. Stoicism does not teach you to stop loving people. It teaches you to stop depending on them for your identity and emotional stability. When you expect people to behave exactly how you want, you are setting yourself up for suffering. Because everyone is living their own internal battle, just like you. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be interfering, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest. Not because he hated people, but because he refused to be shocked by human nature. And when you stop being shocked, you stop being hurt in the same way. You begin to see people clearly. Not as saviors, not as enemies, but as imperfect humans trying to survive their own existence. And that awareness gives you something powerful: emotional independence. Fourth brutal truth: you will lose everything eventually. This is the truth most people avoid thinking about. Everything you have will one day disappear from your grasp. People you love, your youth, your possessions, your achievements, even your identity. Stoicism does not say this to make you depressed. It says this to make you awake. Because when you stop pretending things are permanent, you begin to value them properly. Most suffering comes from attachment without awareness. We act as if life is permanent. And then we are shocked when it changes. But nothing in nature is stable. Everything is in motion. Everything is temporary. And once you truly accept that, you stop living in fear of loss. Instead, you start living in gratitude of presence. You don't cling. You don't panic. You don't beg life to stay the same. You appreciate what is here, while it is here. That is emotional maturity. That is Stoic clarity. Fifth brutal truth: the version of you that you are protecting does not exist. Most people are not afraid of failure. They're afraid of losing the identity they built around who they think they are. You are not just holding on to habits. You are holding on to a story about yourself. I am not disciplined. I am not lucky. I am not the kind of person who succeeds. I always fail at this. I can't change. And the most painful part is this: you start defending these beliefs like they're your personality. Stoicism destroys this illusion completely. Because in Stoic philosophy, you are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not your past. You are not even your current behavior. You are the awareness behind all of it, but most people never reach that level of understanding. They protect their identity even when it is destroying them. They avoid opportunities because, that's not me. They reject growth because, I've always been like this. They stay stuck because changing would mean admitting they were wrong about themselves. And that is why transformation feels painful at first. Not because growth hurts, but because ego resists death. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you are killing an old version of yourself. Every time you choose honesty over excuses, you are letting an old identity collapse. Every time you choose responsibility, you are burying who you used to be. And yes, it feels like loss. But it is actually liberation. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you must stop being defined by your past. Because your past is not a prison unless you keep visiting it. You are not stuck. You are just attached. And attachment to identity is one of the deepest forms of suffering. The moment you stop asking, who am I? And start asking, who do I choose to become today? your entire life begins to shift. Because now you are not defending a story, you are building a future. Sixth brutal truth. Discipline will always hurt less than regret. This is the truth that separates those who change from those who stay the same. Discipline is not easy. Waking up early is not easy. Controlling your emotions is not easy. Staying consistent when no one is watching is not easy. But regret is far heavier. Regret does not show up immediately. It grows slowly. It appears years later when you realize, I should have started. I should have stayed consistent. I should have tried harder. I wasted too much time. Stoicism teaches that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. And discipline is simply choosing the pain you understand over the pain you will regret. Because there are only two types of pain in life, the pain of discipline, the pain of regret. One weighs ounces in the present, the other weighs tons in the future. And the irony is this: the pain you avoid today becomes the pain you cannot escape tomorrow. Most people think they are escaping discomfort by being lazy, distracted, or inconsistent. But they are actually investing in future suffering. Every skipped responsibility becomes tomorrow's pressure. Every avoided challenge becomes future anxiety. Every excuse becomes delayed regret. Stoics don't rely on motivation. They rely on clarity. And clarity says this: if something will hurt you later, it is already hurting you now, just silently. That is why discipline is not punishment. It is protection. Protection from the version of you that will look back and wish you had been stronger. What comes next? Now you have begun to see the structure of Stoic truth. You are not special to the universe. Much of your pain is created by your mind. People will never behave the way you expect. Everything you love will eventually change or disappear. Your identity is not fixed. Discipline is always cheaper than regret, but we are not done yet. Because the final layer of Stoicism is the one that changes everything. Final conclusion. The day you stop running from truth is the day you become free. Everything you have heard in this journey was never meant to comfort you. It was meant to wake you up, because Stoicism is not about feeling good. It is about becoming unbreakable in a world that will never stop testing you. You now understand something most people never fully grasp. Life will not become easier. People will not become more predictable. Pain will not stop appearing at the perfect time. And circumstances will not arrange themselves around your comfort. But here is the truth that changes everything. You do not need life to change in order to become free. You only need to change your relationship with life. The moment you stop demanding fairness from existence, you stop being disappointed by it. The moment you stop expecting people to complete you, you stop being controlled by them. The moment you stop identifying with every thought and emotion, you start becoming the observer instead of the prisoner. That is Stoicism, not suppression. Not detachment from life, but clarity inside life. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire and still wrote daily reminders that he would die, that everything would fade, and that only his character truly belonged to him. Epictetus began life as a slave and still became more free than those who owned him. Seneca, surrounded by wealth and political power, constantly reminded himself that loss is not tragedy, it is nature. And now you are standing at the same crossroads they once faced. Will you continue living as a reaction to life, or will you begin living as a response to it? Because the truth is simple, you cannot control everything that happens to you. But you can control who you become because of it, and that is where real power begins. Not in avoiding pain, but in refusing to be destroyed by it, not in controlling others, but in mastering yourself. Not in chasing comfort, but in building inner strength so deep that comfort becomes optional. If this message reached something inside you, don't ignore it. That feeling is not motivation. It is awareness trying to wake you up, and most people will silence it. But you don't have to, because from this moment onward, you have a choice: remain the same, and repeat the same suffering. Or apply what you now know, and slowly become someone life cannot easily break. Not because life becomes gentle, but because you become strong. And that is the real freedom Stoicism offers. Not escape from reality, but mastery within it. If you made it to the end, this is not just information for you anymore. It is a responsibility. Use it.